from one tragic story to another tragic story. Chicago sports. We are, as far as the sporting world goes, kind of just a dumpster fire of a city right now. The Chicago Blackhawks are the third worst team in the league. So we're just hoping the lottery ball falls in our favor and we can land Connor Bedard. The Bears lost to the Packers again last week. Justin Fields looked very good, but that one hurts a little bit more because we were leading going into halftime and then blew that lead, and it just... It
was all fourth quarter pretty much, right? They scored like 18 points in the fourth quarter.
Wasn't a fun game to watch. Kind of ruined my Sunday, not gonna lie. But
we got a bye week this week, so it's all right.
Yeah, this is the best Sunday I've had in a very long time because the Bears can't lose and ruin it. The one kind of knight in shining armor that we were expecting we're not really getting this year is the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls are 11-14. Of their last 5, they are 2-3. They did have an impressive win against Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks last night, or maybe 2 nights ago, and beat them. I think it was like 115-144. So impressive game there. Hopefully we can continue to see some development. You have had a lot of young players starting so far this season. I know Io and Patrick Williams were in the starting lineup for a very good portion of the first, I think, half of the season or so. And you're still without Lonzo Ball. I don't think he's come back yet, at least, right?
Nope. Yeah, he's still out.
So the Bears are a lost cause. The Hawks are a lost cause. Let's focus on the glimmering little streak of hope and talk about the Bulls a little bit here. Do we think we can repeat the magic from last season? Do we think we can make the playoffs? And are we getting a little too pie in the sky here if we hope for a season ending in something other than a first round playoff loss? Like getting pumped by, who did we play last? Did we play Boston?
I don't remember. I think
it was a gentleman's sweep last year. That's all I remember.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think the interesting thing about the Bulls is that we do have a good team, right? We don't always have a healthy team, which I think tends to be our downfall. But I don't necessarily get what the problem is this year. You know what I mean? I get, you said young players, which I see, but it feels like a lot of these games we should be winning. You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of the games were pretty close, which I will say. But, like, we beat the Bucks in a fair game. We beat the Mavericks now. I didn't watch that one, but it's just interesting to me that we can win these key games but still have a pretty dismal record. You know what I mean? I don't think it's too far out of the question to think that we could do well towards the late season into the playoffs. Is it going to be enough? Is it going to be worth it? If we lose DeRozan, because that trade that they were talking about for Russ with the Lakers has not gone through, but if DeRozan ends up going to the Lakers and we get Russ, if we lose anyone else, bro, trash.
Like, I don't want Russ.
Nobody wants Russ.
I do not want Russ.
I don't know why the Bulls would even consider that.
I'm pretty sure AK shot that down.
Okay. All right. As long as that was shot down.
I believe I saw it was reported. I think I saw on Twitter that trade is not going to be happening.
Okay, good. Because that's the type of thing that really just ruins any hope that I did have. But at the time being, I think we just got to wait. You know what I mean? We got to get healthy. We have to put in the time and actually, win these close games, have these clutch moments. Because, what was it against it was Kobe White who showed up and had a real game against the Bucks. You know what I mean? If we can have Kobe White, if we can have Io showing up and having those games, that's where we're going to make a difference. You know what I mean? That's
so the issue this season, I think, is twofold. I think we're putting a lot more pressure on, or not pressure, but responsibility on Patrick Williams to have an impact as our big man, which, I mean, it's his third year in the league, I think. So that's to be expected. Part of it that hurts is that Lauri Markkanen is just kind of balling out this year in, I believe he went to Memphis, right? Or no, not Memphis. Utah.
Oh, he's on Jazz.
Yeah, I think, I can't remember what team he's on, but I know that he's having a really good season, and he's having some very, very good games. So I think we're soft at the big man position right now because you've got a young guy in Patrick Williams, and Vooch isn't really like a big physical center. He's not somebody that I think you can count on to stop a Joel Embiid or to compete with a Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic or any of those types of players. The other issue has been health. Players not being healthy, not having Lonzo does not help. But the glaring issue here, I think, is that Zach LaVine he's not playing up to the expectations that we should have for him because of his contract and because of the money that he got.
He's definitely playing worse than last year, for sure.
Yeah, I pulled up his stats. So his over the past here, we'll just look at his time with Chicago being full season. So after the trade of the 2017-2018. So 2019 field goal percentage 46, then 45, 50, 47. This year he's down at 42. 3-point field goal percentage 37, 38, 41, 38, 36. So field goal percentage for threes down 2. Points, where were we? 20, 23, up to 25, up to 27, down a bit to 24, and this year 21. So he's not being as effective, and he's not living up to those expectations that I think is now placed on him with this new contract. I think Io's played well. I think Patrick Williams is showing sparks, but I think Zach LaVine needs to step it up.
Yeah, especially if we're talking about, continually keeping Zach LaVine and stuff like that and having to rest him enough to keep him healthy and his knees okay and Salehe's back, all that, you know what I mean? I think just watching him play has looked or felt worse this year than it did last year. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Last year I felt like, yes, he would be in the spot, he would get the ball, or maybe he wouldn't even be in the spot to get the ball. Maybe he would just come up the floor with the ball. But it would be a high percentage shot that he ends up getting off. You know what I mean?
A lot of ISO.
This year, it is a ton of just dribble, fade away. Dribble, off-balance shot. Like trying to dribble around somebody or straight through somebody into a terrible shot, a low percentage shot. You know what I mean? I don't know if this is a coaching issue, if this is an ego thing, if this is, coming off an injury, kind of like, trying to be trying to do too much or whatever it is. But Zach LaVine needs to get back to the basics, needs to get back to higher percentage shots, needs to get back to, finding his spot and shooting from there. Because that's what DeMar DeRozan is great at. He's like, I'm going to get to the middle of the court, I'm going to shoot my little, mid-range jumper. It's going to go in. You know what I mean? But Zach, takes shots from literally every place on the court. You know what I mean? Literally. And the percentages are just not there. They're not in his favor right now. You know what I mean? He's got to put in the time. Get back to basics.
He's not injured, is he?
No, he was coming off of the back end knee injuries from technically the end of last year.
Yeah, and I had thought he was good. I didn't think he had any injuries after the start of the season because he's historically a player that is very injury riddled.
Yeah, I think he had concerns about his back at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he got his knee scoped in the offseason, but other than that, he hasn't had any injury concerns. Oh well. Hopefully we get a little bit more out of Zach LaVine, and you got the Bulls giving you some hope here in this bleak Chicago winter, because we don't have any hope come springtime with the White Sox or the Cubs either, because they're two equally dumpster fire organizations.
Okay.